Hey traders, Jeremy Ritz here from Courage Pays Better Than Fear Trading. And May 2025 is packed with market moving dates and events. And I want to make sure that you are aware of all of them. So stick around for my top dates to watch, plus a sneak peek of my Bitcoin course that I'm offering here at the end of May. Let's go. So May 2025 is going to be a critical month for traders and investors. We've got a major earnings report that might be the biggest of Q1. We're going to talk about that. Economic reports, Fed information, and oh yeah, the Bitcoin course on May 20th. So let's break down all these dates that you can't miss. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so here is the May calendar, May 2025. And you can see up here at the top, I have written sell in May and go away, because typically that's the sentiment that surrounds the stock market around this time period. You have a lot of investors, people working at these major financial institutions who shut it down. They're going on vacations. And so that is the common tagline. You sell everything and then you wait until the fall to get back into the markets. Keep in mind that the best 6 months of the market starts in November. So this stretch that we're about to head into in the summer can be a bit weak, but I wanted to break down these key important dates for all of you so that you are prepared for this month. First up, I want to point something out. So you'll see here on the calendar where I have these green writings where it says bullish sentiment, and in some areas it's in red, it says bearish sentiment. This is part of a concept known as seasonality that's included in the Stock Traders Almanac that is all about seasonality. I encourage you to check that out. But why this is important is because historically on these days, if you look at the markets and how they move, they have a leaning to either be bullish or bearish. So when we see that green bullish sentiment or the red bearish sentiment, that tells you historically that particular day has been bullish or bearish. So let's jump into it. Today is May 1st. We did get ISM Manufacturing PMI today, and it's typically a bullish day. And then on May 2nd, we're going to get the unemployment rate and non-farms payroll. So we want to see what the health of the labor market is, because remember, the Fed pays attention to that. That's something that factors into whether or not they're going to cut rates. The unemployment rate last month was at 4.2%. We're going to see if that ticks up or ticks down, but keep that in mind as Friday rolls around. On the 5th, we're going to have ISM Services PMI, but really next week, the big day is going to be the 7th. And why is that? Because the Federal Reserve is going to make a decision about the interest rates. Are they going to hold steady? Are they going to cut? And out of left field, would they raise rates? More than likely not, but there is some growing belief that the Fed could cut rates next Wednesday. And that would be very, very bullish for the markets, because it would take some pressure off of the consumer with lowered interest rates, lower cost for borrowing. So we're going to see that. And then also remember that Jerome Powell speaks following that rate announcement. So we'll get that rate announcement at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And then at 2:30, Papa Powell will be speaking. And then we close out the week, not much going on. Now, keep in mind, earnings are still going on, but there's only one report that I'm interested in for May, and I'll talk about that here in a minute. And then we move to the next week, and you can see I have on here the full moon on the 12th. Why? Because go look at the charts, and there's a moon indicator. When you have a full moon, typically there is a bullish push. So not saying that it's foolproof, but go check it out. But this week is just as important. We're going to get CPI, the Consumer Price Index, so an inflation report. And then that Thursday, we're going to get the Producer Price Index, which is another inflation report. So that's going to give us an idea of how inflation is currently operating in the United States. Has it ticked up? Have tariffs impacted that yet? Probably not, because of the 90-day pause, but these are going to be important reports to pay attention to. And then we get a whole slew of data on the 16th. It is options expiration day, which can make for a very volatile trading session. And you also get building permits, Michigan consumer sentiment, and housing starts. We head over to the next week and we could see that bang and bang, we are getting two bearish sentiment days. So keep an eye on some red for the 19th and 20th as previously indicated by historical performance. But something I want to point out here is on May 20th, my good friend Edmond Fontana and I are going to be teaching our free Bitcoin course to educate people who are beginners in the space about the power of Bitcoin. And if you look at how far this digital currency has come, it was less than a penny, its value when it started. And now you could see it got to an all-time high of $109,000. So there's massive potential here. And we want to talk about the importance of Bitcoin being in your financial portfolio. So check out the description because the link to sign up for that course is in there. And I hope that you join me and Edmond on the 20th. So mark that on your calendars. So the rest of that week, there's really not too much. This JOLTS data, that shouldn't be there. We already got JOLTS to start the month. But then if we come over here, we could see that on Monday, the 26th of May, the market is going to be closed for Memorial Day. So mark your calendars that we won't be trading that day. We're going to be missing the open market. And then we get bullish sentiment the next 3 days to close out the month of May, the 27th, 28th, and 29th. But really, Wednesday is the big daddy day, right? And not just because of the Fed minutes from the meeting, but because we are going to get NVIDIA earnings. Yes, Jensen Huang will be talking about the forecast for NVIDIA. It's going to be interesting to hear him discuss how tariffs are impacting the company, the chip sector. And so circle this on your calendar, May 28th. This will move the markets significantly. All right. Today, Apple and Amazon are reporting at market close. Whatever Tesla reported, it's about NVIDIA. Okay. This is going to be huge. Be ready. The 28th, let's see what happens. And it's falling within that bullish sentiment period. If you go back 2 years ago, 2023, that's when NVIDIA really took off and launched and became the NVIDIA that we know today. But make sure this is marked on your calendar. And then we get GDP on the 29th. So keep an eye on that. And then we get PCE, personal spending, personal income to close out the month. So this month is packed. Again, the key highlights. Interest rate decision, I think they are going to cut. Papa Powell speaks. And then it's all about NVIDIA earnings. So now you are informed, educated. You know what's coming up in the month of May. And you know about that free opportunity for the Bitcoin course. Sign up for it, register. That's in the description. And yeah, let's make May amazing. So there you go. You are prepped for May 2025 as a trader. And tell me, what are you really focused on for the month of May? Is there a particular target, particular stock, or particular move you're trying to catch? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to see what you're focused on. And don't forget, NVIDIA is going to be reporting on the 28th. Do you have a play there? Thank you so much for your support. Make sure you subscribe on the way out, and I'll see you back here in June. We're going to do this again to preview a month of data, earnings, all sorts of events that impact the market. And you, in the meantime, make it a great day.